Oh, we're recording. Okay. Okay. So
Big dipshit.
Jasper kept changing his voice to confuse Ash, and was switching between Alfred and who?
So he kept changing his voice throughout the call to get Ash to let her guard down. It's a manipulation tactic.
I didn't
To
let
be a
my
bit
guard down.
to be a more comforting side, but then to flip back to the original. So kind of like making your brain chop and change, feel different emotions. So it's changing between the voice that he used for Alfred and his normal voice.
I kept forgetting I was talking to Jasper. Felt really dumb.
Okay? You do that enough to someone, and they tend to let their guard down the line.
Okay. I got that written down.
Okay. The party, Ash.
Party?
You're talking about a party. We could have a party, go out and get something to eat, talk about it.
Yeah, he kept saying that he wanted to meet up and go get something to eat and talk and stuff. And then he said, he's like, we can bring all your friends. And I was like, oh, party. He was like, yeah, we can do that.
Fire.
What'd you ask, Reggie?
I told him that his videos are bad. I don't like them. And he said that he wants to stop making them because they're boring and repetitive, and he doesn't like making them anymore. And so I told him about. I told him about how, like, this one time I was in the car with my friends, and we drove over a fire, and it caught on fire. My friends in the boot, and they got burnt. And he asked how many friends there was there, and I said 5. I think there was 5 there. And then he said just for me he'd light 5 people on fire next time. He said he wants to make someone scream.
This was in the same phone call.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was a long phone call.
Okay. What was his tone of voice when he asked you about burning 5 friends for you? Was he more Alfred or was he more himself?
I don't remember.
Okay.
He kept swapping. For the majority of the call, he sounded how he sounded when he said he was Alfred. Because he wanted to make me comfortable. Kept saying.
Okay. Let me ask you a different question. Maybe one that's a little bit easier to try and formulate. When he swapped to the other voice, do you remember anything that he said specifically? What I'm trying to get at is I'm curious to know if maybe he left. How do I put this? I mean, Reggie, you could tell me that this isn't a Jasper thing, but I feel like this. I don't want to dig too deep. Is it possible he tried to leave some kind of cryptic message in the voice of Alfred versus
100%.
his voice? Okay.
Which is why I try and get Ash to, if possible, to remember to press the record on her phone.
Okay.
So there is
sounds
ways,
happy and nice,
but I think possibly that it's more of a manipulation tactic to fuck with head more.
No, that's.
He didn't manipulate me.
Even to pretend that he didn't manipulate you, Ash, it's to make the strong assumption that he could have manipulated you, and that was his intent.
He might not manipulate you this time, Ash, but It's the whole point in when you do these things, it's not always an instantaneous thing. It's a gradual thing. The tone and how someone talks to you means a lot to you the more you get to know the person. You get to know when they're happy, they're sad, that kind of stuff with how they talk. When it's someone trying to manipulate you like that, they want you to feel comfortable enough, which is he's assuming that you feel more comfortable around the Alfred voice. So the more that he does that, the more comfortable you
Man, I
sound
wish I
around
had my
that voice.
phone. Sorry.
I just feel scared. But he sounds nice when he sounds like Alfred.
Flop.
Yo.
Jasper was speaking to me, he fucked up. He went to say Ash, but he said Abigail, and then it stopped and said Ash. And he was referring
Ooh.
to Ash.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure my thoughts are correct that I said to you guys.
Yeah.
Is that he's seeing Ash as if she's Abigail.
That's what it sounds like, and honestly, that kind of, I mean, a slip up is possible with all the talking that Jasper does, but I feel like with all the suspicions that I think we all had around it, I think that kind of makes it more concrete.
Yeah, definitely. When he did that and he slipped up and corrected himself, I didn't make mention to it.
Okay.
I just let it fly. And this was yesterday that I had this call.
Do you mind if I write that down real quick?
I mean, you've got the recording device on too.
True.
Phone's recording down there on the floor.
True. So what I normally do whenever I record like a conversation, I'll go back to it later. These are just things to kind of like let Hayes know when I see her later. So I'll go back and break down the recording too. But I just want to make sure I get that down.
Through the phone call that we had yesterday, it was just a lot of back and forth chess games. Basically, the way that I got it out of him talking about Abigail is by telling him about my previous history and my family,
Mm-hmm.
and how people are supposed to care for you and protect you and that kind of stuff. You don't. He slipped up there. So I basically rolled around another manipulation tactic, trying to make them feel something with your story that they can relate to theirs, which then makes them spit something else out. So yeah, he let that fly. It was just little things, nothing too huge, more of a me trying to understand his mind.
Mm-hmm.
We spoke about, and I like asking this question to people, right? You had one moment in your life, one single moment, you could go back and change something. What would it be? His was that she could go back and kill Andy and kill Allah.
Okay, let's break this down then. If that was the one thing he would go back and do, why would he want to go back to Andy and kill Andy? What was Andy to him at the time? Because obviously I think he has different feelings toward Andy now, but I could be wrong. But from what he said to me, he wished that he wasn't, or that she wasn't such a different person. So
So we were just talking about people changing as well through that phone call,
mm-hmm.
and how people learn things and change and grow from certain incidents, people, and that kind of stuff. Which is what Andy's done. She's grown, she's learnt from him and moved on with her life. Wants nothing to do with it.
Now, do you think that that kind of change angers Jasper? Is the lack of interest in him?
Well, let's run it back, right?
Yeah. I'm just trying to understand. Maybe,
Ash and Andy. What else? Forget it.
He said on the phone he doesn't want me to forget about him.
Okay, well that goes in line with his standard. He wants to create a legacy. People remember him, make a name for himself in the city, which is the same as what was happening prior when he was alive.
Yeah, I feel like that's very okay.
Now, let's run it back, right? He had someone through the majority of this, if it goes this far back as to Killer, that was a female of a similar age to Ash, right? Someone who, when you think about what Andy was, she was a very innocent and caring person, right? I think we can all agree on that, Flop.
Sure, you could say that about Andy.
Right.
At least way back
But
when. I don't know about her now.
this is what we're talking about. No, we're not talking about now. We're talking
Yeah.
about previous when Jasper was alive.
I got you. Okay.
So substitute Andy for Ash.
Do you think he's just kind of pinpointing on Ash because Andy's no longer interested? Like, do you think? Okay.
I think that consider, if he's considering Ash as if it was his sister Abigail, it's not too far-fetched to believe that he considered Andy like Abigail.
No, yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. I probably didn't explain it properly verbally, but that's kind of what I was alluding to.
So that's the way that I'm piecing those together. Now, I was pointing out different parts in his life and everything like that, and then we ended up talking about the butterfly effect and how you have ripples. You change one thing, it can change the whole entire outcome of the world, right? So
Sure.
we spoke about that. A lot of irrelevant shit, just me trying to understand him more and get inside of his brain. Made mention to a cop whose name starts with F, and that he wants to reach out to them and give them the video. He wants more cops to know. So by this, it sounds like he's trying to either change or recruit more cops into doing this, which is what he did back before when he was alive. He specifically handpicked the cops that he wanted to work with it. And those cops changed.
This is important, I guess, pertaining to this. He wants to know which cop starts with an F so he can give them the video.
No. I made reference to a cop's name that starts with F and that he's to leave that cop alone.
And is that so what happened during my phone call is he had made mention that if I was involved in his case, he was going to kill me and turn me into a video. So why would he want to deliver a video to that officer?
Because that's how he works. This man thrives on people knowing him, his legacy, understanding him, learning about him. All that shit is what he enjoys. Why would he try and kill a cop off that's trying to do that investigation and understand it all? Unless they got too close. Did he do it to Brian? Did he do it to Bath, Winters, Forcer, Dan? No. Didn't. He specifically chose those cops. It's an empty threat, but it is something credible for the future when the doors start closing on him. He just likes to know the cops that are investigating him and his.
He wants control. He wants that control to know how to pull the right strings at the right times.
And who to watch.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. I don't want to switch subjects because it's not really a subject switch, but I did have a quick question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I did make up some notes for Faith's tape, and I didn't know if you had a chance to break it down.
I haven't. I've been dealing with a fucking heap of shit, but I want to hear them.
Okay. So I got a transcript. Let me grab that note real quick. And I have well, actually, my phone's down there. Let me go through my notepads. So you remember the things that, or I guess not everything verbatim, obviously, but you've listened to the video.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So a couple things in that video that I thought were really interesting, and I guess after this discussion that we've had today, and including the phone call with you, Reggie, yesterday,
Mhm.
when he said that I did do anything, everything, and Abigail spit in my face for it. When it's family that are the ones disappointing you, letting you down, it's different. It rips you apart, breaks you down into tiny little pieces, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to say fuck it and start further back than face video, and it's still incredibly sensitive, and I get that, but you know it's important. I went back to your tape to see if there were any similarities, and I actually found a lot of similarities between your tape and the tape for Faith, and I'm trying to figure out, and this is the big question mark throughout this whole thing, is did Jasper have Faith when you were taken? And if that's the case, where the fuck was Faith? Because you said that Faith was not in the
She
room
was
with you.
definitely not in the room.
Yeah.
No.
So that's the big question mark, and like you said, could literally be anywhere. It doesn't take very much to get someone to hide in this city.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously that's the big question mark. But I did notice that in your tape, Jasper, I mean, I'm gonna kind of bring up a couple little notes that were brought up in your tape, but nothing super big, just the similarities. There's like two.
Mm-hmm.
Jasper said to you, "You can pull through this. I have faith." Verbatim. So the question is, if she had been taken around the time that your video was released and you were taken, where was she kept? And kind of, you know, there's really no known possible locations unless someone is willing to come forward with something that all of us are unaware of. And
Jasper told me he had faith
I want to
at the
say,
same time he did the video for Reggie.
yeah, I want to say Jasper said that to me too. I need to go back in my recording and re-listen to it.
See, I don't know if he was there the whole time because I was drugged up a lot of it.
I know.
So he could have been looking for someone. He could have been going somewhere else to fucking check that someone's still alive or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. We're kind of going off what we kind of know right now, and obviously we're trying to go down roads of potential question marks that we could try and uncover as potential paths for Jasper. The other thing that he said to you in your tape is the only reason I am not cutting you into tiny pieces and marking you off the list is because I want you to bear witness the havoc I'm going to wreak. Now, that specifically, that quote that he said to you, Reggie, was, I mean, part of it was, most of that quote doesn't matter. It's face tape where Jasper says, when it's family that are the ones disappointing you, letting you down, it's different. It rips you apart, breaks you down into tiny little pieces.
Mm.
He repeats tiny little pieces in both your video and in Faith's video.
Interesting.
I don't know what the significance to tiny little pieces is to anything, but I do think it's interesting that in Faith's video, she is cut up into tiny little pieces.
So this is how Jasper works, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the same with his cassettes. Was you had to listen to them,
Mm-hmm.
and then a couple of tapes down the line, it might make reference to something that you go back to and go, hold on a second.
Yeah. What I had to do with the Faith video, and I had to do with Faith's video and your video. I had to play them and watch them, and then I needed to play them and look away and just listen. And I was
Yeah,
able to
that's
pick
what I
up.
tend to do with his stuff. Is I'm more of a. I spoke about that to him, which is interesting that he makes mention to Ash about how the videos are boring, and it makes me question whether or not he's going to go back to cassettes.
He might. Is it possible
Because
he'll leave videos and cassettes? I mean, I feel like
I'm
that'd be
sure.
counterintuitive, but it's possible he just goes back to regular cassettes.
Well, we are talking about cassettes, and I said, you see, because I still have little stabs at him just to see
I
his
love these
reactions and see
conversations.
if he slips up,
These are like my
or if he
highlights of my
gives more
day.
information. And I said, Jasper, you still don't even seem anywhere near as sinister as you were. The cassettes were different. Like I heard them, and it was completely different. And then he was talking about how people are visual people, more visual with their own mind. Your mind can run wild and see scenes completely different versus what you'll see in a video, which is why he liked the cassettes.
I don't know if it matters or not, but when Jasper took Reggie, he told me he was gonna cut him up into little pieces.
I think that's important. I actually think that's very important. I get this notepad out of
So
my
it's
hand.
3 times that has made mention of it.
And then in Face video, did cut someone into tiny little pieces. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how to react to something like that because it leaves me with a lot of question. If that reference is now been used with Faith and now there's no way it's going to get re-referenced, or if he has yet to actually reuse the reference or use it in a different context, because he uses the same phrasing, and I want to say he used it with me as well. I again, I need to go back into my recording and decipher my own recording still, because I have a hour and a half long conversation to go back and re-listen to.
We were talking about how he's the villain. I said, so what does that make me? I said, because I'm not a hero. And he said that I'm more like a vigilante. So he believes that it's going to be more me versus him than him versus PD.
Mm-hmm.
So that that's something to keep in mind a little bit. I just continually had little jabs at him, relevant things. The reason I do the jabs is to try and get him to bite, slip up, say something. He still won't give further names on who's they. I'm calling him out on the shit that he's saying to Ash, how our names are erased and how
Oh yeah, Floppy took us off the list.
okay, we've spoken about this.
Oh,
He definitely did.
yeah, never
He
mind.
literally told me he didn't.
Yeah, never mind.
I was about to say I want to get excited about that, but the question is why would he have taken you off the list? But if he said he didn't, then I would probably take
He
his
told
word on
me
that.
he was gonna stop killing people.
Let your guard down, Ash.
For how long though?
Manipulation. There won't be a video this rough.
There won't be one, you said?
No, and then he said he's gonna do a quick little thing
Flop needs a bug.
for the
Oh
next
dear God.
person. Tate sounds useless to him. Sounds like he can't get him to do what he wants.
Oh,
So
he
this
said he was
this,
gonna set Freight Tape free.
I'm sure it's gonna kill Tate.
No,
That
no,
sounds
he
it.
said he was gonna set him free.
Just like he set Faith free, Ash. Alright. Yeah, there you go.
Do you think? How do I put this? What do you think the phrase of setting someone free means, minus the actual killing part, right? Because what I'm still
Setting
trying.
their soul free.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's some understanding that I'm still learning about Jasper and the devil.
Hmm.
Do you know if that has any relation to his phrasing on setting someone free?
No, because that's the first time he's made mention to that. Setting someone free. It was. I don't know. I don't know what to think of it, and I dare say it might be something that we hold on to, and it can swing back around later.
Mm-hmm.
Um. Yeah. So nothing for Friday, but possibly next week could be Tate. Didn't exactly explain what he wanted to do, or how it's going to work, or how it's going to die, or anything like that. So I dare say that's going to come in the coming days. There was more talk about the Smileys,
Oh
and
boy.
remember how Hayes was talking to me about that 2-week program.
Mm-hmm.
So he started talking about brainwash. And I took him off on a tangent about brainwashing, asking him
Sorry,
questions,
Ziggy.
blah, blah, blah.
Oh
And
God,
then he made
Ziggy.
mention that he has
He's calling me
friends
on
that
my
know
phone.
how to brainwash. I
Mm-hmm.
said, roughly how long does it take them? He said a couple of weeks. So kind of, again, confirmation for that. My only question, though, Flop, is why every time that we talk is there mention of the Smileys? Every time we talk, there's
I
some reference to the Smiley.
I feel like the Smileys are an easy reference. Now, I'm playing devil's advocate right now because I think that you're onto something. But let's break it down a little further. What's the one constant that was always with Jasper for a level of support? Because our concern every time we have a conversation is what are ways that Jasper could get to other people or use other people to help him in his help aid in what he's doing, right?
But he didn't use the Smileys that much before.
All right, then I guess I have more of a question then. How were the Smileys used originally? And how effective was it? Because I guess this comes down to maybe me not knowing really like.
I'm pretty sure that the Smileys were only used as an information source per se, and eyes. There was nothing specifically too much to do. I remember him making a light mention when he was alive, but that's it. There was nothing further. It's not as heavy as it is now. Like, is this a fucking look in one hand while the other hand does something? Is it the fact that he wants to fuck over the Smiley? I
So
I don't know.
here's a
He
little.
talked to me about Smiley too.
Okay.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Like when he was mentioning it to Ash as well. It's so often now.
Yeah, but he was talking about Smiley, not the Smileys, right?
I mean,
No, he wasn't. Mr. Smiley. It's Kenneth Jasperson.
the way you have to look at it is Jasper also uses words like for example the word faith can be a name, but it can also mean literally have faith in someone or. But you have to take that word and you have to apply it in every direction. So if Jasper mentions smiling or a smile or, for example, it's a Carcer world, right? We need to take those things and say, okay, what is he referencing? If he's referencing anything, because like you said, Reggie, everything that
That toxic.
Jasper does
You want me to host that little shit?
has a
board?
purpose.
Okay.
The question is, how does it have a purpose?
My question is why is he mentioning the Smiley so much?
So here's what I could tell you, and this is just a little bit that I understand about the Smileys. Way back when the Smileys were kind of looking after me and they were kind of hunting me down a little bit, I was on their list of people that they wanted to kill. They hated me. They fucking hated me. I didn't do anything. You could look at me way back when as I was once I guess an information gatherer, right? I essentially tried to look into these people to attempt to figure out their next steps, which sounds a little weird, but a long time ago that's what I did. This was I'm talking Thomas Dwayne. I'm talking we're going back.
Is
And
this when you were 20?
I'm like, no, what?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh. What was
The
that,
fuck
yo?
does that have to do with anything?
Yeah, wait, hold on. Why?
Because I don't understand.
Okay. Oh, yes. When I was okay. Yes, when I was 20. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Okay, yes.
Oh, okay.
This was back
I
when I was
know.
20.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
We're all
My
30
brain's
now.
too fried for this shit.
Yeah. We're all 30 now. But back when I was 20.
Jesus. Fuck.
Um
Why can't you just say something normal like before the economic crash?
because that was a really genius way of asking that question. That was really good.
Yeah, but what if like?
I didn't know there was an economic crash, to be honest.
Yeah, come on now,
I
Reggie.
just moved in.
Get with the fucking times, Reggie.
Fuck me. Hurry up.
So, back when I was 20, I was an information gatherer, right, with Thomas. The one thing the Smileys wanted was that they were a very violent group. They wanted blood, but they were very patient. I'm talking like 6 months before an attack patient. These fucking people were the most patient group of serial killers I've ever seen. Now,
Yeah, because you never knew who was a fucking smiley.
exactly. And I hate to say it, I hate giving props to serial killers, but the reason why they're so good at what they do is because they know how to manipulate people. And I hate to say it, they were pretty good at hiding their fucking identity, right?
I don't know. There was one way you could tell though. Do you remember what it was?
Yes, but I verbatim no. I remember there was a way.
Had to check their pockets.
I do remember that.
Mm-hmm. I remember finding it on someone one day. Being like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
That was something that I dug up, and I'm just like, yeah, nah, fuck this. I ain't touching this shit anymore.
Yeah, I don't blame you. But to kind of get to my point so we can move forward. I remember the Smileys being just like me, but the one part of me that did not ever fall into play was the violent part. They would take information, they would bring it to the people that they wanted to bring it to, and then they would get violent with it. I was never that violent person, but I remember that they would start slow, and then at the end they would sprint. If that makes sense. Can I pick up my phone real quick and just tell Ziggy to stop fucking calling? It keeps popping up.
Sure.
Okay. Let me just grab this.
But please don't propose to us.
I'm not.
He's already got his rebound.
Hello.
Hello. You keep calling me. What's
You're,
up?
you're alive. I was checking in on you.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm recording on my phone, so it's on the ground. I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
I'm
All
fine.
right, just making sure.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Okay.
You gonna be around for a bit?
I'm gonna go play Yu-Gi-Oh.
You
Fucking
better.
loser.
Are you fucking kidding? You're kidding me, right? You said you were gonna be around for a bit. You're gonna play Yu-Gi-Oh? Why are you laughing? Quick sad story for you. You ready?
Okay.
I used to own a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I gave them all to my neighbor. All like 2,000 of my
God.
cards.
What?
And I found out that like 4 of the cards that I had are worth about 10 grand a piece now. And I rolled up into a ball and screamed, and that kid probably burned them or threw them in the garbage.
Oh my God. R.I.P.
There's your sadness for the day. Go enjoy
Yep.
your Yu-Gi-Oh, I guess.
Okay, don't die.
What do you mean don't you fucking leaving me for Yu-Gi-Oh? I can't believe this. Okay, and then he hangs up. The fucking pussy.
Just as a side note, I sold my
There you go.
full first and second edition sets of Pokemon cards for $200 when I was a kid. Yeah.
Ow!
Don't ever hug me again or I'll snap your fucking neck, cunt.
I'm sorry.
If it makes you feel any better, your cards were actually very likely worthless because they were probably in very shit condition if you had them as a child.
No, this was a binder that I never played with. I just put them in there. as soon as I open them from the packet. Yeah, that's why that hurts.
I never got into Pokemon growing up. Anyway,
I'd literally like get boxes of booster cards, get excited, open them all, put them away nice and neatly, and store it away.
I mean, I still have like, you know, like baseball cards, but like that's the only thing. If I'd kept my Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I would have been very happy.
I remember one time I got like 6 boxes of the fossil set.
Oh,
And Ditto's
no.
coming out my ass. Good times. Anyway, get back to the story.
Sorry to bring up a sensitive subject.
Okay. So he made mention about brainwashing,
Uh-huh.
but he's giving up on Tate. So this makes me believe that Smileys might not be doing fuck all for him. If they're not fucking brainwashing Tate. And he was talking about friends, how he's got friends. He had a meeting today. And when he was talking about his friends, I said, Jasper, don't use the word friend. Friend should never be in your vocabulary. It makes no sense. Every person you're around, you hurt. And he was trying to tell me about how he does have friends, and I'm just like, okay, fucking wrong person. Wrong person you're talking to, buddy. So there hasn't been too much now. There was something else that came up after our phone calls today.
Say that last part again. Something came up with on call today. Sorry.
Yeah. Don't pick this up yet.
Oh.
No. Yep. Sana, you know the singer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she met with someone called Alvin about a month ago up in the mountains. Just random, said it was a little bit creepy, whatever. Sana's also going to be a target.
Why would? Okay.
So she received a phone call from him today, stating the things that you're reading on that note.
Yeah. Why Sana?
I mean, he's been hanging around Uwu. He is a singing. There you go. It's possible that more Uwu employees could also be targets. Unsure. It's just a random stab in the dark, but we do know that he's contacted Sana now and wants to utilize Sana in some kind of aspect of being in a video and being attacked.
So she received this note today, you said?
No, that's the takeaways from the phone call that she had.
Okay.
She got her to write down what she remembered.
Gotcha. I was gonna say, because this is some recent stuff that she's referencing. Interesting. Okay. I'll pass this along. Do you think Sana's next, or do you think this is kind of a hint to say like this is the direction?
I feel like the Tate should be next in what he's been saying.
I have a question.
Hurt Sana.
I guess you can maybe consider this a little tit for tat, maybe. But how did Sana know to get in contact with you? Like, what is her involvement that she's a target?
I don't know. I don't think that there's any involvement with me. It's more with Ash and Uwu. And seeing someone that's been there, like Sana's there a lot. But there's other times where Sana could have spoken to him there. He bumped into her randomly in the mountains.
Okay.
Sana told Mari. Mari told me. And we told Reggie.
Okay. So it was kind of a trickle.
Well, there's probably a lot of people that know now.
And unfortunately, Sana started telling people, and people started saying dumb things.
Well, that's what happens. Unfortunately, the general public is as bad as the PD when it comes to information and things that come up. One thing goes to another, and all of a sudden, it's a slide that's 90 degrees going downhill, and the slide is full of shit.
So Mari told them all to shut up, drop it, and stay away from it.
I like Mari. She's good.
Yeah. That's basically about it that we've got so far.
Okay. All right. Next time.
Here you go.
Thank you.